Hey, Gooners! Welcome back to the Gunners Nest, where we bring you all the latest on Arsenal and the Premier League. Today, we've got a special episode for you. We're diving deep into my predictions for the Premier League top 8, bottom 3, and how I think Arsenal will fare across all competitions this season. So, grab your favorite Arsenal kit, sit back, and let's get into it. The 2024/2025 season is already underway, and Arsenal took on Wolves in their opening game of the season and defeated them in a game which ended 2-0, and a goal and assist from Kai Havertz and Bukayo Saka. Let's start with our predictions for the Premier League top 8 this season from game week 1 of the season. We've got a lot of competition this year, but here's how I see it playing out. 1. Arsenal. I'm putting us champions and top of this season. After last 2 years' strong finish, I believe we'll build on that momentum and win the league. Arteta has been brilliant in shaping this squad, and with a new signing like Ricardo Calafiori and potentially new signing into the attack and midfield, we've got a real shot at challenging and beating City. We're stronger, smarter, and more cohesive. Plus, players like Saka, Odegaard, and Jesus among other players are set for standout seasons. Watch our video on the 3 reasons why we think Arsenal is going to win the league. 2. Manchester City are likely to top the table again, but then winning the league 5 times in a row will be extremely difficult, but their squad depth and Pep's tactical nous make them the favourites. They have only one new addition as things stand, and their squad has been weakened with the exit of Alvarez and the injury to Oscar Bob has. We believe they will put up a though Vogt, but Arsenal will have too much for them. 3. Liverpool. Klopp's men had a bit of a dip at the end of last season, but I think they'll still up there under their new boss Arne Slot. A midfield rebuild with Salah still firing, they'll be up there challenging for a top 4 spot if they avoid injuries, and they're going to be a real threat. 4. Tottenham Hotspurs are a bit of a wild card this season. They've got a new big money striker Dominic Solanke, and manager Ange Postecoglou will be hoping he adapt to Thai style. We think they'll just make into the top 4. 5. Aston Villa. Unai Emery has done wonders with this Villa side, and I believe they'll break into the top 6 this season, but the pressure from the Champions League will just be too much for them. Their squad has been weakened, but they've made some smart signings. They'll be a tough team to face, especially at home. 6. Manchester United have been hit and miss under Ten Hag, but they're slowly finding consistency with the squad's fitness. Their attack is sometimes impotent with players like Rashford and Fernandes struggling to find their feet in big games. However, I still think they're a step behind the top 4, but will have enough to J European football. 7. Chelsea. After a rocky season, I expect Chelsea to improve under Enzo Maresca. They've brought in too many exciting young talent, and if they can get their act together, they can push for top 4, but we think that will be too much, but they will have some stability in their style of play. The key will be consistency, which they've struggled with lately. 8. Newcastle United. Newcastle were one of the surprises last season, and I think they'll continue to build on that success from 2 years ago as their big money signing Tonali returns. With a solid defense and a well-drilled team under Eddie Howe, they'll be tough to beat. Now, let's talk about the teams I think will struggle this season and, unfortunately, face relegation. 18. Ipswich, a newly promoted side that we think will struggle. They've got a great spirit and manager, but I don't think they've strengthened enough to compete at this level, but will put up a good fight especially at home. 19. Southampton. It's always tough for promoted sides, and I think Southampton will find the Premier League a step too far on their return to E-League. Their squad depth isn't strong enough, and I can see them struggling to adapt to the pace and intensity of the league. 20. Leicester City. Leicester City have been on a downward trajectory, and despite their efforts in the transfer market, we think they'll struggle to find consistency after losing their manager and some key players. Their attack lacks firepower as Vardy has grown older, and their defense has been shaky. I fear they'll be bottom of the table come May. Moving on to Arsenal, let's talk about who I think will shine for us this season. Player of the season. Bukayo Saka. Saka has been phenomenal over the past few seasons, and I expect him to reach new heights this year. His ability to influence games, both with goals and assists, makes him my pick for player of the season. He's got the consistency, the talent, and the mentality to be our standout performer. Top goal scorer. Bukayo Saka. We're backing Saka to be our top scorer this season. He's got the pace, the movement, and the finishing ability to influence games. With the service he'll get from players like Havertz and Odegaard, I think he'll hit over 20 goals in the league. Breakout star. Martin Odegaard. Odegaard isn't exactly a new name, but this will be his 3rd full season with us, and I think he'll be crucial in our midfield. His defensive solidity, passing range, and leadership will make him one of our top performers. Lastly, let's talk about how I think Arsenal will do in the cup competitions this season. FA Cup. I believe we'll make a deep run in the FA Cup, possibly reaching the semi-finals or even the final. Arteta knows the importance of this trophy, and I think he'll prioritize it alongside the league, but we think we will just miss out to Manchester City. Carabao Cup. I expect we'll use this competition to give some of our younger players a chance to shine. We will believe we will have enough to get it over the line. Champions League. This is where it gets interesting. We're back in the Champions League for the second year in a row, and we think we'll make it out of the league stage. Depending on the draw, we could make a decent run to the semi-finals. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We'll need to see how we handle the extra games. So there you have it, my predictions for the Premier League top 8, bottom 3, and Arsenal's season. What do you think? Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode of The Gunner's Nest. Until next time.